In this RH Jam, we'll explore the concept of reconnective life, the deep and instant transformation that the reconnective healing frequencies effect in us, and how to tap into this infinite source of effortless wellness and personal progress. Wow, that was a mouthful. And to help us harness this understanding, Lexi Alexandra, our very own, a Reconnective Healing foundational practitioner and core member of our Reconnective LIFE Community. She will be here to share with us not only her life in frequencies and the ways this path has come up with her for her, but the ways in which she can now see very clearly the difference between thinking you are into knowing that is that Jillian talks about. We'll also share with you an exclusive clip from our upcoming premiere with Dr. Eric happening this Saturday, August 1st. But first, let's really start the RH Jam. And geez, with that introduction, really, I just gave it all away, right? If this is your first jam, I am Ana Clavell, your presenter, and the RH Jam is a weekly program that we try to do live and direct, and we cover anything and everything that has to do with reconnective healing. We actually use all your comments, all your suggestions, all your questions as the source of inspiration for these programs, not just this one today, but all of them. And what really has made the RH Jam reach into so many people's lives that is doing on YouTube is trending, guys. And it's trending. And it's trending because of you. You know why? Because when you subscribe to this channel, when you like this video, when you share our videos, you're telling those who are seeking in YouTube, those who put in the search engine in YouTube, better my life, need a new life path, anything like that, guess what? We come up. And Reconnective Healing is there to receive them because we are a community, a family. The moment each of us has interacted even for one split second with these amazing healing transformational frequencies. And I remind you that some of us who are joining here today may be coming in for the first time. Welcome. We welcome you all. You are part of this group now. I just want to let you know that Reconnective Healing was discovered in 1993 by Dr. Eric Pearl. It's an energy-based approach to healing, to transformation, to communication. And we were kidding last week that perhaps transportation too, but that may need a complete RH Jam to discuss that, right? And this is an approach that does not require that you learn any steps, that you follow any rituals, and it has been validated by science. And the program cannot start in full until we greet our chat room. Hello, chat room. Welcome, fam. So happy to see you. Lula is amazing. She parked herself here about half an hour ago. That woman, you rock. You rock. That's so cool. Barbara, welcome. Maria Luisa, welcome. Dame B Rock. I know your secret name. And I like to also welcome Alejandro. Hello, Alejandro. Veronique as well. Hello, Justin. Good afternoon to you. Hello, Alina. Hello, Faye. I see that we have also been joined today by Mariana from the UK. Hello. Hello, Momo Music. Hello, beautiful Momo Music. Hello, Christy. Oh, mwah. So good to see you, woman. Hello, Maria. And I see we have here as well Dagmar. Hello, Dagmar. And Moza, we have Eva. We have here with us Jennifer Lynn as well, and Gloria. And you know what? Hello, Melissa from Belgium. This crew is going to grow today, guys, because this is such a hot topic right now. Not only that whole aspect of getting stuck in memories and reliving the past and reliving, painful experiences, but more importantly, how swiftly an interaction with these frequencies can set you from being, oh, woe is me, into, oh, hang on, maybe it's not so much that way. I'm not sure how I got here, but I can see this, but it's no longer kind of like dictating how I need to feel. How curious is that? And you notice that, guys? Look, I'm kind of chopping my own head here in this frame. Oh, how peculiar. So, that is not going to be something that I'm going to take too seriously and let it become one of those memories. But, when we examine the topic, what is it that we mean by walking the Reconnective Life, capital Life, path? First of all, guys, nobody out there needs to set out to search the Reconnective Healing path. It finds you. And that is, this is why we're playing here with words and terminology. As seekers, there is a moment in which we start resonating with certain traditions, with rituals, with beliefs. And then there's that moment in which we go into a bookstore and Dr. Eric's book just lights up in light, or we touch the book and our hands start to tingling, or we meet somebody who offers a session and boom, here we are. Can be as simply that you were sitting in a movie theater and the people behind you were practitioners, and whether you were aware or not, you were exposed to these frequencies. These frequencies do not know any barrier, and they simply go from person to person to person as we place our attention on them. We don't need to tell them what to do. And yet, there is a moment in which we can all distinguish how things were in our lives before Reconnective Healing and our where we are now. And then we notice that there is this expanse in which things seem very different. And we're going to talk a little bit about that, because that is the realm, truly the realm of our memories. Our memories often are the ones that keep us kind of like tethered in place to a single path or a single type of expectation. Depends as well on the type of memory. And we're going to talk here about that type of memory that I think will really illustrate what I'm trying to describe here. This before-after effect, which is really, there's no space-time. So that's debatable, the before-after, right? No, that's another program. So most of us are able to remember very clearly moments and the experience of these moments. And usually it has been in those instances that we have been deeply affected emotionally, each one of us has a story of remembering exactly what is it that we were doing when a life-changing experience took place. We may remember it. I recall as a child, as a young child, an older friend of my family discussing the death of John Lennon. He said, I remember exactly what I was doing that day. It was this time in the morning. I was in front of my mirror brushing my teeth. I had just thought about calling my mom when suddenly it came up on the radio. It was so crystal clear after all those years. And I have my own moments like that. And each of us conserves those moments that are etched, it seems to me, etched in stone, in stone in our souls, embedded in such a way that indeed it feels almost like that area sometimes even turns to stone inside of us. And curiously though, the memory is so powerful that you would think it would be then we just be able to just bury it and forget about it and walk away from it. But it's so powerful that whenever it is evoked in any way, it brings up all the emotions we felt when we first had the experience, often making us relive the moment in a way that affects our well-being, affects how we relate to our life's decisions and our choices, and it affects ultimately our version of who we are, our observation and understanding of who we are, who we think we are in our process of being, and here is where truly, for me personally, and I'm sure many of you will agree, and I'd love for you to share in the chat. Guys, remember, the people who come and sharing in these recordings, they do check our chat. There is that moment then that reconnective healing happens. And when reconnective healing happens, it's not even like it arrives, we receive it. Let's just say it just happens. It's there. Everything then starts to create a different perspective, a different relationship with so many of these things that we have taken for granted about ourselves, about how our life needed to be, how our lives were going, what we need to do in life. You know, when it comes into our lives, when it really lands in our lives like that, there is such a graceful, emotional cut. Let's call it like a cut from these type of memories. And it's not like it erases the memory and gives you a clean slate. The memory is left. It's still there. It remains intact with all the details. What happens though is that it becomes pretty much like you can observe it, like this gentleman is doing in that chair. You can observe that memory from a space of comfort. You're comforted now. We are not relating to this memory anymore simply through the emotions of that moment. We have left that path. And sometimes it takes a little bit of knowingness, allowing that knowingness to come through to receive the fact that we have moved altogether somewhere else. Not only emotionally and physically, sometimes, emotionally and spiritually, but sometimes even physically, we are taken somewhere else, you know? So these memories no longer hold on us any kind of sway. They no longer dictate the way that we need to feel in it when a situation like it starts to come back for us. They have taken us they have become for us an extension of ourselves in which we learn to truly see ourselves and appreciate ourselves, appreciate our experience. But they are not longer what dictates how we feel about the experience. That becomes now a choice, because now we are in a new known. This is our is. The is that it has no space-time. It is the person that, as you are now, as we are now, you look at the person that you were with those memories and you appreciate that person. But for my life, personally, sometimes I cannot, it's not like I don't have a connection with that person, but their experience is no longer what's dictating me, this new me, the is of Ana. And this is something that is very common for all of us in a Reconnective Healing family, and those who are observing this changes, this transformation that this Reconnective Healing frequencies bring into our lives. You are now on the Reconnective life path. Even if you're not fully in the awareness of it, you are now walking in these frequencies, with these frequencies, because now they are part of you. And that's what Lexi Alexandra is going to be sharing with us today. She, as a life leader of our leadership team here in the Reconnective LIFE Community, she's going to share with us precisely that moment in which she thought this is what life was, and then how life is really now, and the vantage point that we have when we are in Reconnective Healing, to observe ourselves and grow without having to undergo the experience of the suffering again. This is a beautiful topic, guys, and this is something that our entire Reconnective Healing family has experienced to one degree or another. So, put it in the chat if you had an experience in which you really just could look back and see, this is not the person I am anymore. I'm not rejecting you, all me. I accept you and I love you, but this is me now. Just share it with the world, okay? The more we share, the happier, the more fulfilled the experience for those receiving. Those being the first two emotions that people who encounter us tend to suddenly start noticing as things that change in them, okay? But those are just states. Just remember, those are just states. What Reconnective Healing offers is a very permanent state. And we've talked about it, and we can continue to talk about it. But first, let's watch a quick clip that comes from this Saturday's meditation that Dr. Eric prepared for us. And it's such on point, because this is experiencing reconnective healing as a language. Here we go.
This energy, light, and information. In this witnessing, place yourself now at the edge of thought. Place yourself again at the edge of thinking. Bring yourself once more to the edge of the mind. All the way, go all the way to the edge. What's it like? Keeping your eyes closed. Look inside, all around you.
And as you probably are just recognizing, this is truly a follow-up to that beautiful discussion we had with Dr. Eric last week about why reconnective healing is a language beyond words. And it can be experienced. If for those of you who are joining us today for the first time, as we said, this is an energy-based approach to healing, transformation, and communication. Because guys, there is such a thing as speaking in energy, talking in energy. And reconnective healing truly is that Rosetta Stone. Not only does it maybe giving us access to a multitude of other types of languages out there we're not even aware of. And we can say, though, by anecdotes that come from you guys, it is something that most do experience, communication without words, without visuals. You just know, but there has been a communication. It may also be a language all unto itself. So guys, here in the chat room, how are we feeling about today's topic? I am totally psyched about it because, I did not propose myself to be in the reconnective healing path or leading a reconnective life. I was not a seeker. I was not seeking anything. Nada, zip. It just literally, I was here one day and boom, I was here the next day. Oh, hang on. Isn't that what Dr. Eric describes? He went home, a chiropractor, and then on Monday, he was definitely something else. Oh, pattern repeats. What can I tell you? Yes, it does. And when it comes to Lexi Alexandra, I've had the privilege to be in her friendship now for a long time. Two of the things that have always prevailed for me about Lexi is her authenticity and her transparency. And these two things to me are so powerful because, the frequencies, they don't tell us what to do in that sense. They just bring the clarity for us to hear that for ourselves because our instinct knows. And here is someone who clearly went from thinking that she was leading a specific type of life into what is now, and how this has shaped so at its very core where this Reconnective Life Community will be expanding into. Lexi is definitely not a stranger to trauma. As a matter of fact, she's one person who has received more than her fair share of traumatic events in her life, from car accidents to serious family discord throughout her entire life. And it is exactly because one of these car accidents, one vehicular, I may not be pronouncing it correctly, but I'll go stick to car. One of these car accidents that lands her in a situation in which her life path comes entirely to a halt. What she thought her life was immediately interrupted. And what happened after that led her into the several layers of understanding that things had changed, at which point we become aware then of those things that we have left behind because there's no space for them anymore in our lives, that we're willing to let them go. So without further ado, let's welcome our amazing Lexi Alexandra. Hello, Lexi. How are you?
Hello, Ana. I just love you. Mwah.
Mwah.
Thank you so much for inviting me to be here.
Well, it took a few months of hard work, to convince you. And you know what? And you needed no convincing, and I recognize that, Lexi. You just knew. You just were following your instinct, and you knew when the time would be the time for you. And I so respect that, and that's what I am so grateful, that this beautiful convergence of me asking one more time, and this time you said yes. And I knew in my instinct that it was your instinct saying, it is time. It is time. And I am so in awe that you are here at the Jam with us today. You have been such a fabulous contributor, not only to our weekly jams, but to everything that we do on our social networks. And I just want to take a moment here to truly thank you from the bottom of my heart. Without you, all our social incursions really would have been very limited. And you have expanded the conversation. And for that, myself, and I'm fairly certain everybody here in the chat is equally grateful. So, gracias, mija.
De nada. Gracias, mía.
So I know this topic is super important to you, because not only have you been a seeker, you have studied constellation dreams, right? You have studied Jungian theory as well, and applied it to your life. And I'm sorry, I know I'm getting some things wrong here because I cannot see my notes. Sorry, my dear. And I know you're going to correct me in a second, so I'm not concerned. And I thank you for that. You have been a seeker, and something happened to you when you found yourself bedridden after that terrible accident in which you were rear-ended with Maximus, your son, in the car. Tell us about that moment of being in that bed and the things that conspired to take you into your next level. Where you were, what do you think you thought your life was up to that point, and then the synchronicity that took you into the first layer of where you are today.
Thank you, Mia. And thank you, everybody who is here today, and to all the life leaders. Dear Ana, it's been a journey. And after having been in bed, if it wasn't for the portal, I would not be here today. So the portal was so essential for me. And Dr. Eric Pearl's ebook, those are the things that really kept me alive. And then it just kept moving, one synchrony after another, after another, after another. And then thinking that I was an attorney, having studied Jungian analysis and dream work for 27 years, I had this experience where I felt this presence come through the walls in my bedroom. I could feel it. It was separate from me, but it had form and it had bright colors coming from it. And I tried to talk. I tried to use words of communicating, but that was so wrong. It just like, this is the wordless language, like Dr. Pearl talks about in Jillian. And so I just felt, and through this experience, I heard the message. I heard the message that everything was going to be okay. And when I heard that, when I felt that, when I knew that, I was there. And everything has been okay. And that was my moment of change. That was my moment of moving from where I was to who I am and into this incredible community that started off with the alumni page and has blossomed into these incredible life leaders.
That has been something that I have been privileged to see the growth as well. Because exactly that, you were here and then suddenly you were there. It was it was something that I know was such a powerful instance. It was that moment of understanding that knowingness, right? That impacted me so much when you told me that, because it's that knowingness that you just know. And I think that's the difference that happens, right? Between we can see the signs, we can see what the frequencies are showing us, and then we know there is such truth that comes that way, that we were here and now we are here. So there is Lexi the lawyer who thought was going to be, lawyer and continue to do this, whatever attributes comes to your office, and then plan for retirement, all of these things, all of these trappings of living, that came to a stop. And now you are leading a group of super, in their own right, powerful leaders within our community, and fostering and nurturing a group of people that are now basically inspired to share also their experiences. That it's not easy to get in front of the camera, guys. I may make it look easy, but truly this has never been my happy space. I'm here truly in the inspiration of the frequencies exclusively, okay? So this is not an easy thing, and to unveil our souls in front of a camera, right? It takes that extra step, and you have been so pivotal in inspiring so many of our community to do just that. Tell me about that process. Tell me about, where is your inspiration? How your instinct guides this?
Oh, Neha, a lot of it has been thanks to you and through the reconnection. And that has been the inspiration when I was invited to work on the alumni page, talking every day in the frequencies. They just start to grow and they just start to expand. Living daily with this is what makes everything expand. Hearing each other's stories and sharing these things, and always being with Dr. Eric and Jillian. Favorite one is the Solomon Speaks, and that is such an incredible community in and of itself. And I remember, I have to laugh on it because I remember you asked me months ago to be on the RH Jam. And now I have decided that, yes, it's time. It's time. We have a new community. We have these incredible leaders, and I am here. I have arrived, and here I am now with you.
Indeed, you have arrived. Okay, chat room, I am clapping. But you know why? You're giving a lot of people their perhaps permission to do the same. And I think all of us who decide to say, you know what? Who cares about cameras and who cares about pixies in the audio? I'm just going to let the frequencies do what they came here to do. Why would I stop in their way? I want to share with you that you have several amazing messages being sent to you. I've got here Veronique saying, yes, we have to listen to trust our instinct, our heart. We say, Veronica says, Lexi, you touch my heart. I feel you. Terry adds, your life matters. It is often what is the most beautiful message we receive in sometimes miraculous ways. Oh, that's beautiful. Sandy sends you like 3 beautiful pumpkin hearts. And we have here Jennifer Lynn that says, it's taken me years to get in front of a camera, but I'll do it now for a Reconnective Healing family. You're right, Lexi. This community is an inspiration. Yes, guys, it is, and rightly so. As we have here, Lexi saying the sharing of our experience. Do not underestimate any little tidbit that you suddenly casually mention. It's like the moment you kind of say, the frequencies go, yes? And then boom, they're activated and they jump wherever, the next person around it. So they go back to you and said, oh, let's see what's going on, It is such an instant turning the turning the switch on for them. So even when you just place a simple, a little bit of attention in conversation to them, imagine what happens when you share your story, So, this is one thing that has always inspired me since I've met you, Lexi. And I've had the privilege of meeting you in person as well. Yes. And it's your perseverance. Your perseverance without willfulness. And guys, there's a big distinction here, because sometimes when we persevere to get things done, we get focused in that it's gotta be done, it's gotta be done, it's gotta be done this way. I have observed how Lexi is very perseverant at getting where she needs to go, but she does not actually try to push for things to happen. Tell us a little bit about that, because something we all kind of need to we kind of know, we think we know, but it's great when people share their experience of that. Share with us.
When in law, there was always the effort that I would put forth. But once I understood and trusted and knew and had the certainty of the reconnective healing frequencies, I would just allow everything to happen. Everything just falls into place at the exact time that it does. And there are so many synchronicities, there are so many aha moments that occur, and I just sit back and let it flow. And I will put my attention on something, and then wherever my attention goes, my energy flows. So that's what it is it's a surrender. It's a surrender to these incredible reconnective healing frequencies, and just trust.
Surrendering and trust. And those two words are really powerful. And I think a lot of us at many points in our lives, perhaps more commonly before Reconnective Healing, kind of just was, right? We had trouble with those two, right? Because the whole concept of surrendering sounds like giving up something. And we get caught up on that whole concept of giving up, which is not the same thing as letting go. Letting go, let it be, which is a beautiful point that you make. Where you place your attention, the frequencies following, you just follow your energy follows, and you just follow suit. You follow with the frequencies, you follow in that flow. And yet here is the beautiful thing about being in the Reconnective life path. Which is, again, guys, is not a path you choose. It's just that you are the moment you interact with these frequencies, and your DNA starts to change, and things start to change, and things that were there bothering you are suddenly not bothering you, and then new things appear you didn't even know were important to you. So that transformation that happens, right? It's that surrendering. It seems to me like it's the first in our human emotion stage of then recognizing that we are 100% participants in a circular conversation. That this is the first aspect of letting go. It's a very human term to just get over ourselves. But the truth is, it is ourselves who are really this flow. We are ultimately and become ultimately these frequencies themselves. I know you have been the witness to the growth and expansion of our community. Can you share with us a couple of moments that really were like what I'm describing here, this moment in which you can see that it is the full conversation has taken place. It's more beyond letting go. It's like immediate, shall we say, validation that was the way to go. But what have you observed?
There has been such incredible changes that are going on in the community. And Ana, I think you and Jillian have been the genesis behind this incredible beginning for the Reconnective community, the Reconnective LIFE Community. And to get there, I don't know everything you put into that, but I was seeing slowly the Solomon Group was forming. And a lot of the things that started to develop, I think, were from the outside, from the pandemic, from the problems that are going on. And as those things were happening, the community started forming, and we needed the reconnective healing frequency so much more. And that's when this really opened up, I believe, the most, the need for having the community, the need for sharing reconnective healing frequencies, the need for sharing our stories, the need for everyone to understand how reconnective healing frequencies work, the expansion of them, and that we know that we are not experiences, that we live the experience, but we are not the experience. They do not define us. So I'm going a little over what you had asked, but I believe right now, for me, this is an incredible journey to be with the life leaders. And the network that we have formed is something that I would have never been able to have imagined. And where have we heard that before, right? We could never possibly imagine what can happen with the reconnective healing frequencies. If we try to imagine with our mind, right? If we try to intend it with our mind, it just won't work. It won't work. We have to let it go. We have to let it be, because it knows something that is much greater than the mind can ever know. So move the mind aside and let the frequencies come in.
Exactly. That's really so such at the core, right, of our conflicts when it comes to being in this living in this reconnective healing path, is that our mind can still play tricks and trying to direct in a certain way or interpret in another way. And I think that, to give us cut us a little bit of slack to all of us here, right? It has to do with the fact that when we talk about reconnective healing, it's so hard. It has been so hard to describe to others that, when we actually tried to start a community, it's sort of like an online community about 2 years ago. We had IRL. We had a really fun project going on online. I know several of you remember because you've seen the popcorn adventures and the pie making adventures. And that was our first attempt to see how we can create a community that was really organic, that it was just post whatever happens. Let's have fun with it. Let's just be us. Okay. But I think you have a point that it will be when it needs to be. We had the knowingness that it was needed, that we had to have a community. But the timing may not have been clearly the one that led to the point that we are now. This is what we're talking about in this program. It's like there is that moment in which you think things need to go in a specific way, and then you find yourself here, but you can only find yourself here on this other side, this reconnective life side, when you let go of what your definitions are of whatever reconnective healing is, or how is it that I'm going to share it? How is it that I'm going to talk about it? And yeah, we recognize, I think we've all recognized at some point that sometimes we feel alone in our experiences. Well, not anymore. And Lexi, being now the overseer, the leader of our Reconnective Life community, the leaders, she will have a very important hand to play in precisely helping this new vision for the community, this new collective, collaborative vision for reconnective healing. So, Lexi, tell us a little bit now about the community itself, the Reconnective Life community that it's birthing officially tomorrow at noon. 12 p.m. Pacific, and I put more information below, so you guys, be in tune because it's coming tomorrow. Tell us a bit about the community. Tell me about the forming of it, its members. Tell us about it.
I was so honored when Dr. Eric and Jillian invited me to be the leader and then select members from the community to be among the leaders. And I am so blessed and so privileged to have invited these individuals. And I'm sorry, I can't name all your names right now, but life leaders who you are. And when they accepted, we brought them into the community, and we're on this community on Discord every day. And we have expanded more than you can believe. We have shared our individual introductory videos with each other. And every time we interact with one another, we expand. Something has changed. Something changes us forever. And so you add just two people, and then you add a third person, and then this is just expanding exponentially. And the multiplying is so inspiring and so incredible. And I love all the life leaders, and Dr. Eric and Jillian are just loving the life leaders too. They are very excited about each and every one of them. Unbelievable community. It was the Reconnective Healing frequencies that brought this all together. I need to surrender to that. I can't take credit for that. But it has been an amazing experience to work with them. And we are all on the edge of our seat, waiting and anticipating this incredible launch that's scheduled for tomorrow. And we go with the flow. We learn to go with the flow.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I have been also privileged to see some of the evolution of the conversation about the community. And I think, and here's where this is my personal opinion, obviously, that, with this group of leaders, this is going to be a catalyst event, because this group of leaders are going to set on fire so many more people and so many more leaders. And I think this is the moment, precisely, this is the moment that planet Earth, humanity at large, needs reconnective healing the most. And it's not a coincidence that everything is coming together. Notice how some things, I can tell you that behind the scenes, all the other different ideas that we've had and all the different types of plans that we've tried to create. And we heard Dr. Eric and Jillian, we've been creating things based on what we thought you needed. And when we turn things around, and it's clearly now the voice of you who is here with us in the chat room or viewing this as a recording, it is your voice that we're listening to. We have effectively moved ourselves out of the way. We have done that surrendering that Lexi is talking about. I want to share with you, Lexi, a couple of comments here are coming through in the chat that are just absolutely gorgeous. Justin says, this lifestyle aligning with our essence requires complete authenticity. Fear, anxiety, and doubt manufacture in the mind, inhibit and work against our efforts to embrace the frequencies. So well said, Mr. Justin. And we have Alina who says, I used to say, I see so much beauty. It is something bigger here. A lovely intelligence that knows, just knows. It creates everything now from love. Alina, you're such a poet, but a poet beyond words. I mean, each word packs so much in frequencies as well. We have another one here, but so here real quick. I have one beautiful one from Cecilia. Yay, Cecilia's in the house. And Cecilia says, it is truly a beautiful community. The life leaders have great heart and have created a strong foundation to grow. That is core. And as Lexi said, foundation to grow. I think each person that has come in contact with these frequencies is in potential part of that foundation. But there is that point in which we were here thinking we were doing this, and suddenly we find ourselves over here. And now we know we are this. But to get to accept that no is not something that the frequencies push us to, or the intelligence that guides them forces us to. There's nothing about forcing anything. It's like what you were describing, Lexi, right? It's about being persuasive and pervasive, but at the same time, persistent, but at the same time, letting go and letting the attention and the frequencies guide the next stages. I am thinking, though, that with this community forming like it is, with such strong voices, more people will feel comfortable to put a camera in front of them and record their shares, record their own unveiling of the soul. Because it is in that unveiling, in that discussion about my experience of reconnective healing, right? That these frequencies expand and touch people beyond the words, beyond the story. They do more. They bring that more, that building out of love more that is there. It makes the invisible visible as well. So Veronique adds, so beautiful and right, because Melody said, Lexi, you give life to everything around you. Yes, I 100% agree with that statement. Lexi, you're a nurturer. You are the traditional mother figure, I have to say. There's a wonderful nurturer, the wise woman in any group. I know you can relate to this because I know your background being also a Native American, you have a lot of that tradition in you. Tell us then, where do you think might be the next evolution of this community? Just let throw caution into the air, let the frequencies talk. Where do you think this community is going?
Well, this community is going to expand, and each story that's told is going to bring another story and another expansion, and the only way that we can grow is to become the oneness that we were all meant to be. And this has been the ride going forward. And I can't think of any other place that we can be other than in playing the individual instrument for our symphonies.
Playing the individual instrument for our symphony is to know ourselves. That I think it's just some of us, sometimes all of us actually, I'm going to say all of us at one point or the other, fight and resist the sudden loss of what we perceive as individuality, and again, we are making maybe a comparison between not fully grasping the whole thing about getting ourselves out of the way, and we instead feel that we have to give up something, and instead, when we flow, we are co-creators and co-participants in the entire journey. So I love what you're saying. And I do think that, this community, so many candles are going to come alight and that are going to turn on so many other candles that I think we are really going to be that wave that Aaron describes in Solomon Speaks, the wave that cannot be stopped, that is in process, and now it's just going to gather more speed as it expands. Lexi, you know what time it is here at the dam? It's time that it's that time that YouTube is starting to flash little weird things at the bottom of my screen. So it's yes. So please gift us with an exhortation. Whatever you want. Here you go.
That I want you to know that you are a light, and that every time that we see your pre-shows, that you light us all on fire. You are the beginning, Ana. And that sets off the whole tone for each of the Reconnective Healing, for the premieres, for everything that you do. And I want so much to know more about you, because we have not heard enough about your story. So we need to hear that too. And you light the candle, we're all lighting the candles, and we have already started the wave. We are in an unstoppable wave and flow just among the life leaders alone. Nothing can stop us. Nothing. Because we are the reconnected. We're the reconnective healing frequencies. We're living it. We're breathing it. It's our atmosphere.
Oh, that was sneaky. I am grateful. Yes, maybe we can reverse chairs, and you can be the interviewer and I'll be in your hot chair over there. And you know, I'm just playing my role. This is the role that came in frequencies, and I did not resist. It was completely against my grain, but I did not resist. And, you know, I knew it was some way collaborating and co-creating this in ways that, again, is when we try to imagine it out of here, it's never going to be the exactness that comes via frequencies. I just knew I needed to go with it, get myself out of the way, and do it just like you are doing, just like our community leaders are doing, and just like Cecilia Sams, who graces the room here as she does every week, does as well in her personal life. Lexi, it has been truly an honor and a privilege to be here participating in your very first live interview. Mwah, this is awesome.
It's been wonderful, Ana. You are wonderful.
And guys, you know, sorry.
All of you for being here. Thank you so much. Thank you, dear Cecilia.
And I remind you all that if you want to reach out to Lexi, those of you who have, you're still not friended with her on social media or are just joining us, there's a link here. You can follow that link, find out more about Lexi, and she'll answer all your questions as well. Lexi, mwah, te adoro.
Mwah, toro. Gracias, Mia. Gracias.
Alrighty, so, this whole concept of living a reconnective life path, it's not something we necessarily seek out, it's there, and suddenly we are, and that's it, we always obviously have a choice if we want to turn a blind eye to all these changes, and clearly Dr. Eric, and actually Jillian as well from stage, we've heard them say that there have been cases of people who just are not ready to accept this transformation, and they feel perhaps that they need to be still in whatever was that situation, that life path that they were in before. But it's entirely now our choice, because there is the moment in which you are here, and then through no effort on your part, you are here. And this is now the new no. This is the Reconnective Healing life path. And we talk about that. Guys, again, it's not like you can go out and say, I'm on a journey to find the Reconnective Healing life path. Can't do that. It cannot. It's you. It just comes to you. It's there. You're there. You're there before you know you're there. You're already walking it before you know you're there. That happened to me. I was on it and I didn't even know I was on it. So that was hysterical looking back, because they left all these little Easter eggs, these little surprises, and kind of like, breadcrumbs of clues and cues along the way, and I just did not put it together. I couldn't, because you see it and you receive it when you are ready, just like this community is ready now. And I'm so excited about this. I have, oh my goodness, I'm reading through your messages here. Yes, Justin says, thank you so much, Sister Lexi. You light the way for all of us. Mama Music adds, wonderful, Lexi. Great. You are here. We are here. All of us. We are here. And you know what, guys? We have quite a premiere this Saturday. This Saturday, when we have Dr. Eric guide us through meditation to experience that aspect, that lesser understood aspect of communicating via energy. And this is going to be such a very interesting experience for us, because we do it, those who are practitioners and those who are in constant interaction with the frequencies. It is something that starts to come to us naturally. We don't think too much about it, but to break it down like he is going to do in this meditation is quite the journey of discovery. And for those of you who did not know that you can speak in energy, well, let me tell you, you do. And you can harness this. You can actually start observing what that communication looks like and feels like. And guys, if you want to watch this, be participants in this, send me an email so I can send you that RSVP link, or subscribe to this channel. And then on Saturday around 9:30 a.m., boom, the whole page will come live for you, and you can start with a chat party. We're usually hanging out there around that time already. And guys, oh, do I have a surprise? If you guys have not opened your emails yet, and you know who I'm talking about, Solomon starts on August 5th. Yes, Solomon is back. And guys, I don't need to remind you that tomorrow we have a launch FB Live moment with Dr. Eric and Jillian for a Reconnective LIFE Community. These two things are happening right there, one with the other. Actually, these three things, because we have our premiere. Because you know what? The more you support our efforts, the more we can create things that are meaningful to you, that are meaningful for your own life progress. So this is your opportunity to partake and expand this community even beyond expectations, even beyond our definition of community. And we cannot conclude today without sharing a few things, particularly for those who are joining us and may have experienced reconnective healing, but still are not quite clear what's going on in their lives because everything is now so different. First of all, pay attention to all the things that you believed were you, but have suddenly lost relevance in your life. All these things that you thought defined the person that you are. And suddenly they're not relevant anymore, okay? That's one of the first things that you discover you are on this reconnective healing path. Second, observe how easy it is to recognize your new known, your is. And it's as simple as, you know, there was a subtle understanding of why is it that you're having so much difficulties communicating with your teenage daughter. And suddenly it is, like clear as day, all the answers that you've been asking yourself rhetorically as a mother or as a father, there it is. You don't know how it got there. You just know. You just know. And guess what? It doesn't feel odd. It just feels like you've always known. And suddenly you're just aware of it. And it doesn't even matter whether you always knew or not. It's just that this information is suddenly within you. It becomes your new known. This is your is. If you're experiencing this, you are in this reconnective healing path. And third, there is this new found sense of freedom, of wonder, of peace, of joy that cannot be described or attributed to any one particular reason. It's instantly accessible, and there is no effort to try and experience any of these states. It's like suddenly you could be lost in writing something or even in conversation with someone or just admiring a rose. Suddenly you find yourself that you do need to stop and smell the roses. And it's great. You don't feel in a hurry that you need to move away from the rose. There's something that has signaled to you, to your very soul, that there is something that is more. And that more is there for you. Because ultimately, that more, it's you. You are that more. And with each of us, we are, each of us, the entire community of Reconnective Healing. And each of us is not only walking that path, we are the path itself. And guys, the times that clock is just moved really fast today. I gotta tell you, that was super awesome to have Lexi chat with us today about this upcoming premiering of the launch of a Reconnective LIFE Community that is going to provide for us a very solid environment to grow in our sharing, in our understanding, perhaps even in the validation of our experiences. We all need that at some point in our discovery of what Reconnective Healing does, is, how it behaves, and ultimately how we are this. We are this is. This is the is. And that first hour of the portal remains such a beautiful introduction to all this magnificent universe, as well as Dr. Eric's book. And both links are right here in the description. Both are gifts from Dr. Eric and Jillian, and the reconnection to our entire human kin and beyond, perhaps. And I want to thank again Lexi Alexandra for stepping into the hot chair here at the Jam and sharing with us not only her experience, but her vision for this community. And again, thank you, Cecilia Sams, you and Lexi. On a weekly basis, you are the backbone of not only the chat room, but also how beautifully it flows, this program. Thanks to you guys. I'm forever grateful. You've made it happen. And finally, to all of you in the chat and all of you who are watching now the recorded version of this program, you guys are, by simply sitting here watching this, actually in this exchange with these frequencies. And by being in this exchange, you're allowing for the expansion of their reach to go beyond just this video, but through you and around you, wherever you are, right here, right now. Because, you know, again, these frequencies do not understand anything about human barriers. Our 4 dimensions are like, to them, like, what dimensions? What are you talking about? I'm there already. So do not ever underestimate how powerful your shares on video, your comments in the chat, your participation in our community is every single time you mention these frequencies. A life is transformed. And this is being the RH Jam for this week. Next week, we'll come back with Guillermo Poli, our co-director of the global teaching team, who has some amazing things to share with us. I am Ana Clavell. It has been a privilege and an honor to be the presenter here today, and hopefully for several, if not all, of the next jams, unless Lexi wants to take my place, and that's absolutely cool as well. Lexi, hint, hint. I love you all. I'm hugging you all in frequencies, and see you next week right here on the RH Jam.